y'all, welcome back to another Finance Friday. I am so excited to do this video. I'm actually going to show you how you can use Ally checking account to do digital envelopes. But before we get started with that, hi to everybody here. My name is Brooke, and on my channel, I like to do personal finance videos and vlogs. So if you like lifestyle, personal finance, that kind of stuff, please make sure to subscribe. I would love to have you over here. Oh my gosh, y'all, we are over 500, which is really great. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I hope you are enjoying my content. I just like to make this content because I want to be transparent about my personal finances, make people feel empowered to make decisions about their own personal finances, and just jap on the internet because I like to overshare. So like I said, today we're going to talk about using Ally checking account and how you can set up automations that will allow you to basically have a digital envelope system. So I know a lot of people like to use YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget, as their digital envelope system, and that is a great software. I watch a lot of channels that use it, such as Chloe's Budgets, Just Finance, I Suck at Budgeting, and Geeky Life Savings. I will link all of their channels below because I'm a big fan of all of them, and I really like how they break down YNAB and use it. However, I am one of those people who kind of refuses to connect my personal accounts to a third-party service. I know that it's very secure, but I don't know. I feel a little weird about it, so that's why I personally don't use YNAB, but I love the concept of it. So what I did was I kind of decided to create a system similar to that within my own account that I use. So I'm going to go over that today and talk through how I use Ally checking and use the different buckets in there to kind of do my own digital envelope system. All right, so now we are inside of Ally and we are in this spending buckets, which is where all of my categories live. And so you can sort them by alphabetical, you can sort them by balances, due date, all that kind of stuff. But what you do is when you create a bucket, you give it a name, you give it kind of a title of what it's doing. This one is for automotive, and then you can set different things that it's tracking. So for this one, it's tracking any purchases with Progressive. So whenever money gets taken out of our account from Progressive, it automatically pulls from this bucket. It doesn't just pull from the unbucketed spending, which is really great. So that's one of the ways that I really like how it uses this, is because you can track different things. So we also have monthly spending ones that I like to create. And this is where I talk about having our credit card little bucket that I talk about in my monthly thing, where we're always paying off our credit card bills in full. And this is how we do it. I have this credit card bucket and it tracks all of the credit cards that we have. We have ones from Chase, Citi, Bank of America, Capital One, all the big banks like that. And I just move money into this so that I know that whenever those automated payments come out for my different credit cards, that we're going to have money inside this bucket and it's going to be properly allocated to it. We also have our giving bucket. We have our health and wellness bucket, our home services bucket. We also have a house payment bucket, investing, student loans, monthly savings, subscriptions, taxes, utilities, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of just have several different buckets, and you can do it where you have what's known as an automatic distribution. For example, with the student loans, we know that every month is going to be a certain amount of money. So what this bucket will do is they'll automatically track anything that comes out of this from Mohela, which is where our student loans are from. And then if you click on edit the bucket, you can edit the name, you can edit the category. This one is a loan. And then this is where you plan your spending. So you can say, how much money do you want in this? So we do $418.15 a month to it. Then how often, we want it every month, and then we enter a due date for when we want this to have that money in there, and I usually say the last of the month. We are a month ahead in our bills, so we're always using this much money to cover next month's bills. And then this is the really cool part, the distribution method is set to either you do it yourself, so you can fill it yourself, or you can set it to we'll do it for you, and then Ally will go ahead and do the math for you, and they'll take the money out of the unbucketed spending amount that you have in your checking account and go ahead and fill up all of your buckets. So that's really cool, and then you can update it, and then once you update it, all of that will be here. I actually like to do this manually, so I'm going to show you how I do this. So I click on this distribute money button here, And then this is where you get to pick from your different buckets. So this is kind of like in YNAB where you have like ready to assign. All of my money is in the unbucketed spending until I assign it to different categories. So I say from unbucketed spending to whatever category. In this case, it's going to be the student loans. So for the student loans, every paycheck we get paid twice a month. Every paycheck we do 209.08, and then we go ahead and submit that. And so then now if we see this, we can see that our money has been distributed from unbucketed spending, and now our bucket balance is 209.08. And because we have that set to do automatic, making sure that it reaches up to that target each month, I don't have to go back into this bucket and fill it up at the end of the month. It will go ahead and just add in the rest of that money that we need to the bucket at the end of the month. So I kind of just do this like once every month, and usually during the halfway point, and then at the end I just kind of let the automations take over. But let's go through and do a couple more buckets that we need to do. So I'm going to go up here and do distribute buckets, and this one we actually need to go ahead and put in money into our investing one because my Roth IRA contribution is going to come out on the 15th, so that is $625 a month. And then I'm going to go ahead and submit that one. And then there we go. It is now in there. And the last thing that I'm going to do is distribute our last biggest bill for this pay period, which is going to be our house payment. And our house payment each month, I am putting in $572.13, I think. Let me bring up a calculator. So I just take the house payments that we need to do, $1,124.33, and divide that by 2. And okay, so $562.15. Okay, $562.15. And if we go over to our house payment, we should now see that we have $562.15 in that bucket. And so then, like I said, when the second payment comes in, I will let the automatic distribution go to work and put all of the money into the right categories. Now, there is one thing that you have to keep in mind if you are doing this Ally one and you set it to automatic. For example, if I don't spend all of my monthly targets of $175 for my monthly spending, say I have this money left over at the end of the month, I probably won't, but sometimes I do. It will only fill up to the target amount if you set the automatic distributions. So for those, I just set the target so I know how much money needs to go in there each month, and then I'll manually go in and do that myself. But it's a really great way for me to just make sure that we're always automating as much as possible, and also making sure that we always have enough money to cover our credit cards. Within our monthly budgets, I have line items that will allow me to mark things as credit card purchases, and then I have a running tab of how much I have on each credit card so that I know that I'm not overspending on my credit cards and I don't have enough money to pay them off at the end of the statement periods. So that's what I do with this, but I really like this layout. I like how Ally keeps it nice and simple, and it shows you all of the activities. So you can see that it automatically saw the Department of Education student loan payment come out, and it went ahead and did that. If you do have things that are in the wrong buckets, you can click like the move button here, and then you can put it to a different bucket. This one is fine, so I'm going to do that, but there's also a list of unbucketed spending. So if you have different things coming out of your debit cards or your checking account frequently, and you're noticing that as a trend and you want to create buckets, you can create buckets from looking at your unbucketed spending categories. This is really great if you are a debit card user, especially because this will make sure that you never overdraft on your account, because you're always making sure that your buckets have the money that they need in order to cover any of your bills. So that's why for us, the automatic distribution of money into our buckets that are for monthly bills is very important, like the house payment, the student loans, investing, all that kind of stuff, because those are important for us to fund in our lifestyle. I know this was a short video. I hope this made sense to you. I also have a great video on how you can use Ally Savings and their different buckets within your Ally Savings account. So you just have one account, but then you can put all of your buckets in there of all your different sinking funds. I have that video as well, so I will link that up in the card description. It is almost Valentine's Day, so tomorrow, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great day spending it with all of your loved ones. And as always, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.